Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're finally going to be talking about the spell Witch Bolt, a Sam favorite.
Oh yeah. Everyone on the internet loves Witch Bolt. It's not just me, don't worry. It's the collective D&D 5th edition knowledge that this is the best spell they've ever made. It's just so fun to use and is so good at what it does. This is just dripping in sarcasm, right? It's supposed to be because the spell
All
is
right,
ass.
it's sarcastic. Yeah, I was just looking at it. I thought, I don't know, maybe we've judged it too harshly. This looks kind of cool. And then I saw one line in the text, but we'll get to that. All right,
Okay.
Sam, what does Witch Bolt do?
Okay. Witch Bolt takes your action. It's first level spell slot. Okay, this is a warlock, sorcerer, wizard spell. So initially, you should immediately be skeptical for warlocks because they have to cast differently than everyone else. It's got a 30-foot range, and that number is more important here than it is on most spells. Its components are verbal spell component, whatever. Duration's a minute. You have to concentrate on it too, so this takes your concentration. A beam of crackling blue energy lances out towards a creature within range. It sounds dope. The Emperor Palpatine shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make a ranged spell attack against the creature. On a hit, it takes a d12 lightning damage. Okay, initial damage is really bad, but that's fine. It does other things. Then each turn after this, for the minute, you can spend your action to do 1d12 lightning damage. Okay, not good, but okay. And then there's more because the spell has to get worse as you keep going. It ends if you use your action to do literally anything else.
That's what killed it for me.
Additionally, the spell ends if a target is ever outside the spell's range, which, as we described prior, is 30 feet, or if it ever has total cover from you, which all that requires is a 5-foot wide section of wall or less. As long as it can leave your field of view entirely, it can end the spell. It doesn't even have to move out of the range of it in this instance. And then at higher levels, the initial damage increases, but the subsequent damage does not. So if you cast this using a second level slot, you do 2d12 damage if you hit, and then you still just get 1d10 each round if you spend your action to use it. Oh, Lord, Witch Bolt is bad. Oh, man. There's
No, I'm with you, man. I'm not gonna argue this one. The I was up there until a certain point, and then I kept reading the text, and like I said, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah. So one of our early videos that
Look,
we did was
the cover, I'm not, whatever. Okay, you can hide from it, break cover. Okay, Witch Bolt ends. I can kind of live with that. The leaving the distance when it's only a 30-foot range, that means it's just not. I mean, unless they're restrained, then it's not going to be worth it. And
it doesn't even take their full move in almost all instances to
if
end this
they're
effect. They can
if
just
they're
pop out,
restrained, you
pop
can
back.
just stab them.
Also true.
And but yeah, if the worst one though was if you do anything else, like
Anything else.
a concentration spell means to me that you're only limited by doing other things that would break your concentration. This one limits you from doing anything at all.
Anything you can't dodge,
That's
you can't dash, you can't hide,
why
you can't cast cantrips, you can do
why
nothing.
is this a concentration spell? That's limiting enough.
Yeah. The real thing that sinks it for me is that there's a cantrip in this game that we don't tend to talk about very much, called Poison Spray. And Poison Spray is a 10-foot range, which is comparable to 30 in that you're going to be up close and personal, especially because Witch Bolt wants you to stay within range of the thing. Like, if you cast this at a creature that is 30 feet away from you, it can step 5 feet back and end it. You don't want to do that. So this probably has to be on something a little bit closer for it to be, like, at its most effective, right? 10-foot range on Poison Spray. Also does a d12 damage and is a cantrip that takes your action. So you could spend your actions poison spraying for no resource cost, for no concentration requirement, that you can then do other things, or you could force yourself to use a power level similar feature to it over the course of potentially a minute, so long as the enemy lets you.
Yeah. Who's gonna let you?
Yeah, no one is. And again, we don't talk about Poison Spray because Poison Spray isn't good. D12 damage on a cantrip is a lot, but the range problems with it, being able to like get up in people's faces, it's just difficult to use. Witch Bolt has all of those problems, costs you more, and then has more problems. And like hypothetically, using your action to do a d12 damage for like that can't miss is like okay. You already hit with it once, so then you can just always keep doing d12 every turn. I ask you this: who is having fun doing that? Who is having fun waiting 15 minutes for their turn and then go, I continue to cast Witch Bolt and pass? How many human beings on planet Earth are like, yeah, that sounds like exactly what that just riveting gameplay for me. This is the character that you give to the significant other that's been brought into the game night that does not want to be there, and that's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Just tell me what to do, and then you just have them cast Witch Bolt and say, oh, your turn just casting Witch Bolt. That's it, and then they scoot on and continue to be bored because they don't want to be there anyway. That feels like what this spell is aimed at doing, and that's shit. No one should ever be in that situation. People playing Dungeons and Dragons should want to play Dungeons and Dragons, but be like engage with it. And this is completely not engaging.
I don't know if that's what their intent was when they designed the spell. Do you have any theories as to that? Because I mean, it doesn't take a lot to, take apart the spell and look at the nuts and bolts and say, "Wow, this is objectively terrible."
On every front.
Yeah, but I mean, clearly the designers had an idea for what it was used for, or what it was supposed to be used for.
So
Do you have any idea?
So it feels like to me they really liked the idea of giving people the Emperor Palpatine lightning, right? The Force lightning channel thing, right? And there aren't really spells in Dungeons and Dragons that do the channel effect, where you put a thing out there and you continually do a thing to one target, like you drain them of life over and over again or whatever. And
I kind of feel like that's Eldritch Blast, because it's a cantrip. I mean, yeah, you got to do it again and again and again. But I mean, you can say you're just keeping it going.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And like, there's definitely ways to flavor it to go around that problem if that's the fantasy you're looking for, 100%. But if the objective of Witch Bolt was to sell that fantasy, they did it in the worst possible way. Like, I would argue lightning shouldn't have that much of a problem arcing around corners, right? So I think like once it's on something, I think full cover probably shouldn't break it. I think you should be a-okay. Like there needs to be boundaries in between you that are very large, but that gets wordy, so I get why they didn't do that. But it seems like that's a weird little thing that makes the spell unusable. The range on it, I can't imagine anyone in playtesting cast this spell at its current range and was like, this is great. I'm having so much fun with this. What? Any of the other cantrips that existed at the time did as much or more damage than this. Imagine when you get to level 5, this does less damage than your cantrips do. Less.
I mean, you and I have, I mean, we're agreed this is terrible, but we're, I don't know. I feel like your emphasis is on different things. Mine is if you do anything else. That really kicks me in the nuts. Like
you get no flexibility, none whatsoever. I'm there with you.
The point of a concentration spell is that you can do other things if it doesn't take up your concentration. That's so frustrating.
This spell could be really cool, and I think we would talk about it way differently if it just let you, once you hit something with it, we leave all the clauses about it breaking on, but we just say then you can do things with your other hand. You just have the free reign every turn, and if they don't get rid of it at the end of your turn, they take a d12 damage, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about a very zap and beating you with a hammer.
Exactly. That is what this spell should be, in my opinion. And then you have a really interesting decision, because a lot of the little nuts and bolts of Witch Bolt are somewhat like counterplay intensive. Where you are, where they are, moving about and things like that. Keeping things within the Witch Bolt is a fun little mini game. Unfortunately, it can be the only game you're playing if you cast Witch Bolt, and the reward you're getting for it is awful.
Yeah.
You asked what I think the designers thought about this. I'm not convinced they did. This is truly abysmal.
Yeah, it's a bad one. I will not defend it.
What are there any defensible double its range and it's still bad, right? Because things just can dash out of it, then
But
the damage
even
needs
now,
to.
you're giving it more than it is. It's not double its range. It
Yeah,
is its crappy range. There's nothing. There's nothing. Give it a score.
this is a 1. Don't take it.
Yes, it's a
This
1.
is in
I
contention for
agree.
worst spell in the game.
It's up there.
Yeah.
All right, no arguments here.
Comments, tell me why this spell is busted. I don't
Oh,
believe you already, but
do
please try to
do
tell me why
do.
this spell is really good.
You got your ear to the ground more than I do. Do people defend this?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't joking whenever I said literally, like whenever I was being sarcastic about, oh, everyone loves this. No one loves this.
Yeah.
Witchbolt is a well-known stinker.
Still, if anyone's got some defense, bring it. Or if you just want to vent about how crappy it is, do that too. Whatever. We want comments.
Tell me about that one time where you cast Witchbolt because it sounded really cool and you were just learning the game, and then you're like, why is everyone doing better things than this? Why do I have to just pass my turn every turn? Because that's a feels bad moment that really does make people go, why am I playing this game? I'll just go play Skyrim. I'll just go grab a different RPG. I'll just go play a different board game with my friends, right? Being bored for 45 minutes as you cast one thing in combat is not something we want in Dungeons & Dragons.
All right, that was Witchbolt. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it, a gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.